Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to do the revision of factors and multiples. If any of you has missed any class till now, can you know it's going to be very beneficial, and for others who have been attending all the classes, it's again going to be very beneficial for you because you will get to have all the things at one go. Okay, so let's start, children. Factor. We all know that the factors of a whole number are the numbers that divide into it exactly. Okay, like any number, if we have 6, 1 divides 6 exactly, 2 divides 6 exactly, 3 divides it exactly, 6 divides it exactly. So the numbers which divide that given number exactly are called as whole numbers. Okay, then next we have like C. 2 and 3 are called as factors of 6. A number can have many factors, but at the same time we need to remember that number of factors of a given number are always going to be finite, that we are going to do in the properties. Okay. What is the property of factors? 1 is a factor of every number and the number itself is a factor of that number. Okay. Suppose if I have a number 12, 1 is going to be its factor and the number itself, that is 12, is also going to be its factor. We need to remember that. Okay. Next we have, for example, 4. The factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 4. Factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, 8 and so on. Now we also see that every factor of a number is less than or equal to the number. Okay. All the factors are either equal to the number or less than the number. They are never going to be greater than the number. For example, 9, there could be no number greater than 9 which will divide 9 exactly, right? Here you can see that the highest factor that the number 12 is the 12 itself. Every factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. Whatever factors, this is the definition of factors only, that factors of a number are the numbers which divide the number exactly. Number of factors of a given number is finite. As I said, that the highest factor a number can have is that the number itself. So obviously we can count them. So we'll quickly revise the properties of factors. What are the properties of factors? 1 and the number itself are factors of every number. Second, the number is the number itself is the highest factor that it can have. Every factor is going to exactly divide the number, and number of factors of a given number are always going to be finite. Next we have multiples. Okay, let us see what are multiples. Multiple of a number is a number obtained by multiplying it by a natural number. It's like we keep on multiplying it by a natural number and whatever we get is called a multiple. For example, 5 multiplied by 1 is 5, 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, 5 multiplied by 3 is 15, and it's going to go on. Okay. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and so on are multiples of 5. Even 1000 is a multiple of 5. Properties of multiples are every number is a multiple of itself. Why? Because every number when multiplied by 1 gives the number itself. 5 is a multiple of 5, 10 is a multiple of 10, 29 is a multiple of 29. Okay. Next we have every multiple of a number is greater than or equal to the number. Remember, children, in factors, every factor was either less than or equal to the number. But in multiples, every multiple of a number is either greater than or equal to the number. Next, number of factors of a number are always going to be finite, whereas multiples, number of factors are always going to be finite, whereas multiples, they are not finite, they are rather infinite. Okay. Next we have, children will quickly sum up the properties. Properties of factors are that 1 and the number itself are the factors of a number. Multiples, every number is a multiple of itself. Second, that the highest multiple is the number itself. The highest factor is the number itself. Okay. Then we have that the factors, number of factors are always going to be finite. Number of multiples of a number are always going to be infinite. Then we have every factor is either equal to or less than the number, whereas every multiple is either greater than or equal to the number. Next, we have types of numbers. In types of numbers, we have even numbers. Even numbers are the numbers which are exactly divisible by 2. Even numbers have 0, 2, 6, 4, 8 in the ones place. Okay. If you have to find out a big number, whether it is even or odd, you have to just check. If it is having at the units place 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, then it would be an even number. Otherwise, it would be an odd number. Odd numbers are the numbers which are not exactly divisible by 2. Next, we have prime numbers. Prime numbers are the numbers which have only two factors. The two factors are 1 and the number itself. These are the numbers which are not divisible by any other number but only by 1 and the number itself. You will see 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 23 and so on are the numbers which are only divisible by 1 and themselves. Then prime numbers are infinite. 2 is the only even prime number. All the other prime numbers are odd. The only even prime number is 2. Clearly, children, 4, 6, 8, they all come in the table of 2, so they can't be a prime number. Prime numbers are what? Which have only two factors. So 2 is the only even prime number. Composite numbers, the numbers which are not prime are called as composite numbers. Basically, these numbers have more than two factors, okay? Like 4, 6, 8, 9, 14, okay? 15, all these are composite numbers. Now, co-prime numbers are really very important to understand. I have seen you people getting confused in co-prime numbers. So here is a chance, take it to understand it properly. The two numbers which have no common factors other than 1 are called as co-prime numbers. What are co-prime numbers? Co-prime numbers are the numbers which have no common factor other than 1. Is this clear, children? For example, 2 and 3, the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. The factors of 3 are 1 and 3. They have only 1 as a common factor. That's why we are going to say that these are co-prime. Okay. Next we have any two prime numbers are always co-prime. Obviously, whenever we take any prime numbers, they are going to be co-prime only. Okay. Next we have co-prime numbers need not to be prime. If you see 9 and 10, the factors of 9 are 1, 3 and 9. The factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5 and 10. They have only 1 as the common factor. But neither 9 nor 10 is a co-prime number. Sorry, a prime number. So it's not necessary that for to be a co-prime number, the numbers have to be prime. It's not necessary. Let us check more. Factors of 25 are 1, 5 and 25. Factors of 33 are 1, 3, 11 and 33. Children, here you can see that they have only 1 as a common factor. Therefore, they would be called as co-primes. Second, factors of 35 are 1, 5, 7 and 35. Factors of 39 are 1, 3, 13 and 39. They have only 1 in common, thus they are again co-primes. You can see, children, neither of them is a prime number, still we say that they both are co-prime. Next we have factors of 14 are 1, 2, 7 and 14. Factors of 26 are 1, 2, 13 and 26. Here, children, you can see that they have 1 as well as 2 as the common factor. Therefore, we won't say that these are co-primes. We would rather say that these two numbers are not co-primes. Okay. Co-prime numbers, here you can again see 18 and 45 have three factors in common. That's why we are not going to say that these are co-prime. Okay. Factors of 5 and 19. See, 5 and 19 are prime numbers and we need to remember that any two prime numbers are always co-prime. Is this clear, children? Next, we have perfect numbers. Perfect numbers are the numbers When we find the factors and we add them and we multiply it by 2, we get the number itself. For example, the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3 and 6. If we add 1, 2, 3 and 6, we get 12, and 12 is 2 times the given number. Hence, it is called as a perfect number. Okay. If we have to find this 28 is a perfect number, let us see. The factors of 28 are 1, 2, 4, 7, 14 and 28. Okay. If we add them, we get 56. Alright. And 56 is 2 times 28. So we will say yes, 28 is a perfect number. Now children, we have done sieve of Aristotle's already. I hope you all have sieve of Aristotle's ready with you. I would really like to see you with your sieve of Aristotle's. So if you have prepared it, well and good. If not, prepare it, click a picture with it and send it to me. What we do, we start with 1 is neither prime nor composite. We leave it as it is. Why is 1 neither prime nor composite? Because the condition for being a prime number is that it should have only 2 factors. The condition for composite numbers is it should have more than 2 factors, but 1 has only 1 factor, 1, so it is neither prime nor composite. What we do, children, here we start with 2. We circle 2 and cut all the multiples of 2. Then next comes 3. We circle 3 and cut all the multiples of 3 like 6, 9, 12, etc. Then we see that next in the line is 4 is already cut out because it was a multiple of 2. Next we circle 5, cut out all the multiples of 5. 6 is already cut out. Then we start with 7 and we keep on doing this. So this is what we get. The numbers that are circled out become the prime numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19 and so on are the numbers which do not go in table of any other number but in 1 and the number itself. Now children, twin primes, what are twin primes? Twin primes are the numbers which are just one after the other with a difference of 2. For example, here you could see children, wait, I'll show you with the spotlight. Here you could see 3 and 5 are prime numbers with only one number in between. So 3 and 5 would be twin primes. 5 and 7 are prime numbers with only 6 in between. So we would say that even 5 and 7 are twin primes. 11 and 13 are also twin primes. 17 and 19 are also twin primes. See, 29 and 31 are also twin primes. Then we have 59 and 61 as twin primes, 71 and 73 as twin primes. I hope this is clear, children. Okay. Next, prime triplet are the set of 3 numbers which differ by each other by 2. For example, here you can see 3 and 5 have only one number in between. 5 and 7 have only one number in between. So 3, 5 and 7 are prime triplets, and apparently this is the only prime triplet we have. Okay. After types of numbers, we have learned what are tests for divisibility. Okay. Test of divisibility we have. Before that, I can see a lot of people raising their hands. Yes, Advait, what happened? Advait, you are not audible.
Ma'am, I was raising my hand for the answer.
Okay, children, raise your hand if you have a doubt, okay? Who else is raising the hand? Parth, do you have a doubt related to what I have taught so far? Yes, tell me.
Understand co-prime numbers.
Co-prime numbers are the numbers that have only one as the common factor. Not necessary that these are going to be only prime numbers. These could be non-prime numbers also. Yes, Suvir?
Ma'am, could you please explain prime triplet again?
Okay. Suvir, mute yourself. Children, see, prime triplets are the numbers which differ means which come one after the other with one number in between. Here you can see Suvir, 3 and 5 have only one number in between. Tanishq Paryani, what are you doing? Sit properly. 3 and 5 have only one number in between. 5 and 7 have only one number in between. So 3, 5 and 7 you can see Suvir and everyone that these are the three numbers which differ by only one number and all three of them are prime. You will not find any other prime triplet like here you can see you have 11 and 13 but then 15 is not a prime number. You can see 41 and 43 but then 45 is not a prime number. So prime triplets are basically the numbers which come one after the other, which only one gap in between. Okay. Do we have any other doubt? Let me quickly see who else is there. Shaurya. Where is Shaurya? Yes, Shaurya, tell me.
Ma'am, I not understand that you have making the box.
How have I made this sieve of Aristotle's? This you didn't understand, Shaurya?
You
Shaurya, are you talking about this? Shaurya, you are not audible, beta. Please mute yourself, Shaurya. Yes, Niklesh, tell me. Niklesh, I have unmuted you.
Understand LCM.
But I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Mute yourself. I'm coming to that.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Children, next we have test of divisibility. All the numbers are divisible by 1. No matter what the number is, it is divisible by 1. Okay. Then for 2, the last number should be even. That is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Here you can see 128. There is 8 at the last. So we will say yes, it is divisible by 2. If there is any other number like 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9 at the units place, then we will say that no, it is not divisible by 2. Okay. For divisibility by 3, what do we have? We have that the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. Whatever we get, we add all the digits, and whatever addition we get, we divide it by 3. If it is divisible by 3, we will say yes, the entire number is divisible by 3. No matter how big the number is. Like see, we have 99996. We will add all the numbers. We get 42. 42 is divisible by 3s. Therefore, the entire number is divisible by 3. For divisibility by 4, what do we see? That the last two numbers should be divisible by 4. Children, here you can see in 1312, the number formed by last two digits is 12. So yes, it is divisible by 12. Whereas in 7019, the number formed by last two digits is 19, which is not divisible by 4. Next we have 5. The last digit should be either 0 or 5. Then we will say that the number is divisible by 5. If the last digit is not 0 or 5, then we will not say that the number is divisible by 5. Here you can see 175. The last digit is 5. So yes, it is divisible. 809, the last digit is 9. It is not divisible by 5. Okay. For 6, we have to make sure that the number should be divisible by both 2 and 3. If the number is divisible by both 2 and 3, then we are going to say that yes, the number is divisible by 6. Okay. For 7, what do? We double the last digit. Okay. We double the last digit. We subtract it from rest of the number. And whatever number comes, if it is divisible by 7, we say that the entire number is divisible by 7. Here you can see the digit at units place is 2. If I double it, it is 4. I subtract 4 from rest of the number. 67 minus 4 gives me 63. Next I am having the digit at ones place is 5. Double 5, 10. 10 minus remaining number 10, 0. So this is also divisible by 7. Last number is 5. 5 multiplied by 2, 10. 90 minus 10, 80. 80 is not divisible by 7. So the entire number is not divisible by 7. For 8, you should check the last 3 digits. Okay, the number formed by last 3 digits should be divisible by 8. If the number formed by last 3 digits is divisible by 8, so the entire number is divisible by 8. What can you do? A quick check, children. This is not done earlier. I'm going to tell you this new trick today. A quick check is to have 3 times half the number 3 times, and the result should be a whole number. See, the number formed by last 3 digits is 816. First time you divided by 2, you get 408. You again divided by 2, you get 204. Again you divided by 2, you get 102. 102 is a whole number. That's why we would say that yes, it is divisible by 8. See here, 302 divided by 2, 151. 151 divided by 2, you get a decimal point. If you get a decimal point, then the number is not divisible by 8. The quick check is you should divide the number formed by last 3 numbers 3 times by 2. Okay, half it 3 times. If you still get a whole number, that the number is divisible by 8. Okay, children. For 9, the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. Okay. For 10, the number ends in 0. For 11, we have to add the alternate numbers and then subtract them. Like here, see, 1 plus 6 is 7, 3 plus 4 is 7. The answer is 0. 9 and 3 is 11, 12. 12 minus 1 is 11, so yes. 3 plus 2 is 5. 7 plus 9 is 16, and then we get 11. Okay, so this is how we find out. For 12, the number should be divisible by both 3 and 4. For 18, the number should be divisible by both 2 and 9. Okay, children, I'll tell you divisibility by 11 once again. Here you can see divisibility by 11. You have the number 7, 1, 3, 8, 9, 6, 5. You have to mark the alternate numbers like I have marked in this given example by red and green. I'll add all the reds, I'll get 24. I'll read all the greens, I'll get 15. When I subtract them, I get 9. 9 does not come in the table of 11, so this number is not divisible by 11. Okay, children? I'll quickly sum up the divisibility rule for you. Every number is divisible by 1. Okay. For 2, you have to check the last digit. The last digit should be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. For 4, you have to check the last 2 digits. The last 2 digits should be, the number made by last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. For 8, you have to check the last 3 digits. The number formed by last 3 digits should be divisible by 8. Then we come to 5. 5, the digit at the ones place should be either 0 or 5. For 10, the digit at the ones place should be 0. Okay. For 6, the number should be divisible by both 2 and 3. For 3, we add all the digits, and if the sum is divisible by 3, the entire number is divisible by 3. For 9, we add all the digits, and if the sum is divisible by 9, we will say that the entire number is divisible by 9. Okay. For 11, we see the alternate numbers as shown on your screen. For 7, we take the digit at ones place, we multiply it by 2, we subtract it from the rest of the number. If the answer is divisible by 7, the entire number is divisible by 7. Children, out of all the things, the only tricky is divisibility by 7 and 11. You will have to practice it a bit. Otherwise, it's all simple. Next, we have concept of power. Concept of power is what? We write 2 multiplied by 2 as 2 raised to the power 2. Okay. We write 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. It is 4 times. So we will write it as 2 raised to the power 4. Next here 2 is multiplied 8 times. So it can be written as 2 raised to the power 8. Next we are having 3 is multiplied 5 times. So 3 raised to the power 5. Next we are having, see children, here 2 is 3 times, 3 is 4 times. So we will say 2 raised to the power 3 and 3 raised to the power 4. In general, if a is multiplied m times, that would be written as a raised to the power m. Okay, children. Now, before showing you prime factors and what is HCF LCM, I would prefer showing you a video. Okay, children. I want you to wait for a minute. Children, now I'm going to show you a video.
Hello and welcome once again. Today we are going to learn LCM and HCF, which stand for lowest common multiple and highest common factor respectively. Confusing as they may sound, but let me tell you, they are really very simple. So let's begin first by understanding what we mean by a factor and what we mean by a multiple. Look at these two numbers, 4 and 6. Multiply these, their product is 24 as you can see. 4 and 6 are factors of 24, and in turn 24 is a multiple of 4 and 6. Just as these other numbers have 24 as their multiple. So all of these numbers are factors of 24. Likewise, all of these numbers are factors of the number 36. I see some of the numbers in both these lists being common. The biggest or the highest being 12. So the highest common factor or HCF of 24 and 36 is 12. Simple, isn't it? Now let's look at these two numbers, 3 and 5. These are the multiples of 3 and these are multiples of 5. As you can see, unlike factors, the multiples go on and on and on, though not beyond infinity. And voila, there are some common numbers here too. The smallest or the lowest being 15. So the lowest common multiple or LCM of 3 and 5 is 15.
Mr. Roy, but why should we even bother about HCF and LCM?
Good question, Tia. Let us see some practical examples of HCF and LCM in mathematics as well as in real life. Both HCF and LCM are widely used in fractions. While you will learn more about fractions in another session, for now, let me say that HCF is used in simplifying or reducing fractions, and LCM is used in comparison of or operations on fractions. To understand how this concept applies in real life, imagine this situation. Let's suppose there are 18 students in class A and 27 in class B. Each class divides into teams to prepare for an upcoming sports tournament. The winning team from each class plays each other in the final. What would be the biggest possible team size you could divide both these classes into, such that each team has exact same number of students and that no one is left behind? Careful observation would tell you that the answer is 9. Easy. But what if the class A had 204 students and class B had 255 students? What would be the biggest possible team size then? Well, careful observation may not help here. So use highest common factor. The HCF of 204 and 255 is 51. So the team would be 51 students each. Let's take another real life example. Tom takes a coffee break from work every 45 minutes, while Jane breaks every 20 minutes for coffee. They just finished their break. How long before they meet together again for their breaks? Well, the answer lies in the lowest common multiple. The LCM of 45 and 20 is 180, which means they meet after 3 hours. Hope this helped you, Tia.
Yes, Mr. Roy, it did indeed. Thank you.
Ashish, sit properly. Children, I hope this was clear to you. This made the concepts of HCF and LCM much clear to you. Yes. We still have 4 minutes left. I'll continue with the revision that we were doing. Okay. Prime factors. What are prime factors? A factor of a given number is called a prime factor. If this factor is a prime number, basically we find the factors of the number, and all the factors which are prime will be called as prime factors. Okay. Like factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Here you can see only 2 and 3 are prime, so they would be called as prime factors. Next, we have learned prime factorization. What is prime factorization? Suppose I have a number 420. I'll start dividing it by the lowest prime number. Okay. Lowest prime number like 2. If it is not divisible by 2, then 3, then 5. We keep on going. And the numbers we get are all prime. So they are called as prime factorization. Okay. Suppose you have to find the greatest 4-digit number, it is 9999, then find its prime factorization. Okay. HCF and LCM, I have shown you. HCF and LCM, I have shown you a video. I hope it's going to be helpful for you. Now, if there is anything else that you want to ask me, you may.